hops.
Malt.
So no, it is hops, but it's just so bad for you. Yeah, it's so dangerous to your endocrine system because it's such an estrogenic plant. If you had like an estrogen deficiency, which is really rare today, that plant could help you get estrogen into your body. But you guys all see what happens to men when they drink beers. They get the boobs, they get the belly, they get that big goddess shape.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's the hops acting. But before hops were used in beer, it was all usually medicinal plants. And so what would happen is you'd drink the beers and you would have this kind of like a kombucha, this fermented beverage that was still alive. It wasn't pasteurized by Budweiser. So this unpasteurized living elixir that contained all this herbal medicine with a little bit of alcohol that would translate that to all your cells. So that was a fantastic way. It was also a digestive aid. So ales, the whole thing of ale is like, if something's ailing, then you get the right ale, the right elixir for it.
Wow, that is so fascinating.
So anyway, that's kind of all got shifted.
Well,
and then originally too,
where do we
have
get some good beer.
What's that?
Where can we get some?
It's actually really,
beer?
you'd have to make it, I think.
Yeah.
There's very few really. I mean, I've actually been looking for a while for a beer without hops. They're really rare. The Canadians do one up by where Jill's from. There's a dandelion one that comes out of there still. It doesn't contain hops. Yeah, it's neat. I did a talk on this last year. Did some research, and what I found out was in the year 1516, there was a law passed called the German Beer Purity Act.
Yeah.
And that was the Protestants realizing that people became very sexually active from drinking beers because beers encouraged, the herbs in them were stimulating. So people would drink beer and become like really stimulated. So they started to put hops in them to decimate male sex drive.
My God.
When I read about that, they said it was for quality purposes in the history books.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, so that everything would be uniform and codified, so that it would be a proper product. And nobody, that's wild.
Yeah, no,
that's
cool.
Cool.
Because the Purity Act, they always do that. They name things like
yeah. So good.
It's the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
We don't like it. Why? You're not a patriot? I don't like this Purity Act. Why? You don't believe in purity?
You must be stupid.
There's a lot of plants that are extremely high in these phytoestrogens, we call them, and it's obvious if you consume a plant a long time, eventually a culture will tune in, like, go, hey, this is really, before they understood estrogen, they could still see what the effect was. The way they knew with hops was because they had women who harvested hops for a living, and it would cause them, just the touching of hops all day would cause them to have early menstrual cycles. And so they were aware of how it affected the female hormonal system. And so they started to put it in beer then. It was like one of the early drug laws, one of the first drug laws. But so today we've lost that tradition, that connection with the original beers and the real use of alcohol. And then, but alcohol's been with us since the dawn of time. Like, we can't go back and go, oh, that's where alcohol kind of first started. That's when we first started using it. It just goes all the way back. All the way back. The first, they estimate the first alcohols were fermented honeys, and then later wines and beers.